Riley here from All Wisconsin Sports. Today I will be teaching you how to accurately throw a disc and why you might be struggling on throwing straight. You might be wondering how this connects to Wisconsin sports. Well, here in Appleton we have had 3 pro disc golfers in the men's division and many more in the women's division. And also this past season in June, the Women's World Championship was held here in Wisconsin. Many people also believe that Wisconsin is the original home to disc golfing, as you know, there isn't much that you can really go off of. It's kind of just hearsay there, and but Wisconsin is definitely one of the first homes to make it a very nationally well-known sport. The reason for you not being able to throw straight or accurately towards the basket could come from plenty of different reasons. It could be coming from just the way that you release the disc. You might be having that good, nice arm socket, but when you release the disc, you might be kind of following through down or off to the side. Whole bunch of different things, but I'll kind of go over some of the main reasons you'd be struggling with making the disc go where you want it to go, and I'll touch on that. So when throwing a disc, there are 3 main different discs you can use: a putter, a mid-range, and then a driver. Each one has its own categories. You have distance drivers, you have fairway drivers. For putters, you have your regular putters, you have some lighter ones, some heavier ones, and then you have your mid-ranges. Each one has its own specific job that it's meant to do. Drivers are mostly used for distance. They're going to be a little bit thinner. The ring around it is going to be very thin as well, so not a lot of place to put your fingers to when you're throwing. Your mid-range is going to be kind of the happy medium in between your driver and your putter. Your putter or your driver is going to have that sleek design as well, but also enough room to catch the wind, so it's not going to go as far. It'll kind of just go in the middle. And then you have your putter where it's very rounded like a traditional frisbee. It's a little bit harder to throw them further, but they do go straighter. I'm also going to throw up a picture of each design. Each brand also has its own signature disc for drivers, putters, mid-rangers. Innova has a ton. There's the Destroyer is one of their best ones that they really like. For Latitude, they have the Ballistic or Ballista. I'm sorry. That is really good. So it's just kind of getting a preference. All of them kind of fly are roughly the same, but they all have their own fade and run to them that people prefer. Also, your throwing style has a lot to do with it too. I'm a big forearm thrower, so when I release a disc, I throw it like I'm throwing a sidearm baseball. A lot of people will get a power pocket and throw backhand like your traditional frisbee, like how you'd think you would throw a frisbee. I just don't get enough power with that. It is a little bit more accurate, but it's just kind of up to preference. If you throw backhand and you throw off to the right, the disc is going to come back to the left. That's just how the movement of the disc goes. It's always going to fade back to the left. If you throw forearm, you're going to want to throw off to the left because the disc is going to come back to the right. So that's another reason for maybe your disc not going straight. So you're going to have to really play with it and get the depth perception of when you're throwing. It will really teach you the flight path, and that's how you can learn which disc you're going to prefer over the other. Another big thing that I've been getting into a lot more, and I've seen a lot more on the pro side of things, is driving with a mid-range. It can be tough because there's some baskets that are very far, but mid-ranges go very straight. So if you have a very narrow basket and you have to throw in between trees, you don't want to end up out of bounds and add a stroke or rethrow. It's perfect for you. You can just line it up, throw as hard as you can, and that thing will just fly straight for a very long time. I've used it these past few times going, and it's definitely worked out for me. So I think that's something that you guys could definitely do as well. And the last thing I want to touch on when it comes to discs is the weight of the disc as well. A lot of your putters and mid-range are going to be a lot heavier. Um, they're going to be discs that you kind of want to throw when it's windy out, because we do get a lot of windy days, especially in Wisconsin. You guys do know that we do get some windy days. It can be tough to keep the disc straight. A lot of your drivers are a lot lighter. They tend to veer off and get carried with the wind. They flip over. You're gonna have a lot of struggles. So I would definitely recommend kind of playing with that, going out into open field, even on a windy day. Like, practice which ones have that true flight path that you're looking for in the wind, because that is something that's going to play a huge role in if you have a good round or not in a tournament, or if it's just going out with some friends, or even just throwing by yourself to get better. That's going to be a big game changer for you. Check the weights of the disc. I prefer heavier discs. They don't fly as far, but they do fly a little bit more straight. They have that true path. Lighter discs, a little bit riskier. I wouldn't recommend a lighter disc to a newcomer, just because it can have some different effects with the wind and just how the weather is on the specific day. It's a little bit harder to throw. I'd stay away from the drivers. Honestly, if I were to suggest a disc to really throw to a newcomer, it would be a putter or a mid-range, because you've probably thrown a frisbee before in the yard to your dog or just playing with some friends. I would definitely suggest a mid-range or like a putter to get going, just because you're going to have that true flight path. You're going to understand how that arm socket works, and then just the true flight path. That's the biggest thing, is that flight path. Yeah, that's going to wrap things up here. I hope you guys learned a little something. We went over some techniques and why it's so big in Wisconsin here. It's been, founded here, quote unquote. There's, towns and cities that have claimed the disc golfing. The championship was just held here this past June that just went by. And there's been a lot of pro disc golfers here in Wisconsin as well that currently even still play the local courses that you can go to for free, and some of the ones that you have to pay for. But thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next time.